what I just wanted to take like 5 minutes to talk about some of the general stuff about the NGSF internship program before we go into questions, because some of you might have really basic questions, and I want to address that before we get to like the really specific questions. So what I want to tell you basically is we've been running this internship program for about 4 years now. We had quite a few students come through and they've had good experiences, and we really want to help students to be financially supported while they pursue their internships, because we understand that a lot of internships in India are unpaid. And so our goal is to really financially support students from anywhere in India to do an internship anywhere in India. So that's our goal, and this is basically why we started the NGSF internship program. So the basics, so if you go to page number 2 or slide number 2, the basics is, I'll first go through the timeline. So the application starts in December every year, usually. So this time it's December 2022, and the applications close on March 2023. The internship period, the actual internship period, is between May and to July 2023, and so successful applicants can basically pursue internships for 2 to 3 months within this 3-month period. So that is up to you. You can choose whatever you want, but it needs to be a maximum of 3 months, a minimum of 2 months between May 1 and July 31 to 2023. And to be eligible, you need to be a master's or a bachelor student, and you should be enrolled in a degree that will end after July 2023. So if you're doing, say, a dissertation or something that ends before this period, you would not be eligible. And you can only pursue the internship in the summer. So we cannot support you for a project, for example, that you've already started or you're planning to start in February or March or something like that, because we want to evaluate all applications at the same time, and this will not really work with our sort of timeline for application evaluation. And your internship needs to be outside your degree awarding institute. So if you're studying in X university, you cannot work in a lab in the same university. You need to be working outside of the university. It could be in the same city, or it could be in a different city. If it's in a different city, we'll cover your travel to that city. So that's sort of the added perk. If it's in the same city as your university, I don't think we'll do that. So that depends on where your home is and everything. So, but you need to do your internship outside of your university. And the third thing, and this is very important, and we got a lot of emails about this. So you need to be accepted by a PI. So you need to search for a lab that is willing to host you. We do not provide internships directly. And I need to stress this enough because a lot of people think we are a lab and we give internships ourselves. We do not provide internships directly. And I think we've done our best to highlight this in the website, but we are still getting emails asking for internships, but we don't do internships. So what we do is financially support interns. So if you are accepted in a lab somewhere outside of your university and you apply to us, and we feel you're good, we will happily give you your monthly stipend, and we will cover your travel if necessary. So there's like basically a 3-step process to summarize all this. You need to find out what interests you, and using that, you need to find out a lab that aligns with those interests, and you need to write to PIs heading those labs. And if those PIs accept you, with their acceptance, you can apply to us. And then we will do your application evaluation, and then there'll be an interview. And then if you pass all this, we will give you funding. So we'll basically support you financially. So the third sort of page or slide in the PDF that's in the coffee chat again, for those who don't know, is finding a host PI. We understand this is a challenging process. And a lot of people, this is totally new, but I think this is something you definitely need to understand. If you're going to be in academia, you're going to do a PhD or something, you definitely want to become comfortable writing to labs and writing to PIs in different universities. So our recommendation is you go to the recommended institutes page. If you go to our website, there is a page that's called recommended institutes. If you have no idea where to start, you can sort of browse through the different institutes. They have all their websites. You can go to their websites, find out the various labs in those institutes, and then find the lab that interests you. And then we highly recommend that you read what the labs are doing. And you mention this in your email to the PI. So you need to write emails to PIs. Get in touch with these PIs. Tell them what you like about it. Just don't write a generic email saying I like research or I like biology and I want to work in your lab, and that won't work because there's like thousands of those emails coming to the PI every day. So you need to be really specific. Let them know that you understand what they're doing, or you have at least a basic understanding. You don't need to be an expert in the field, but please read papers or reviews. That'll give you a real edge, because a lot of people, like 90% plus people, don't really understand what the lab is working on. So if you have a really basic understanding, you already have an edge over your competition. So that will really be attractive, and the PI would be impressed by sort of your background thing. So write your letters or write your emails specifically for the PI you're writing to. Don't write a generic email. That won't work. Also tell them that you're applying to us for funding, because a lot of PIs, they don't like, they don't have the money to pay interns, so they're discouraged from getting interns from, outside of their institute. So tell them that you will apply to us for funding. That will be an added boost. So tell them you're applying to NGSF. Yeah. So that will be also part of your email. And sort of the third page in the PDF is a very exciting new tool that's become available sort of in the past few months. It's called ChatGPT. So this is basically an artificial intelligence software with which you can converse. So you can have a conversation with the software, so with the website, by you just type in a prompt. So you say, I want to know about science, and it will tell you some facts about science. So it's basically like a chatbot. It's like an artificial intelligence. It's a piece of software that can communicate with you, and you'll understand what you say, and it'll respond in a really nice way. It's a really cool tool. A lot of people are using it. Now, how we recommend that you use it is it can really help you draft your emails. So if you look at the third page, what you see up top is the prompt. And what you see down at the bottom is the output given by the website. So the website is down there. It's called chat.openai.com. It's completely free. You just need to log in with your Gmail or I think Microsoft account. And so you need to tell it so you need to tell it about your background. So you need to say, I am your name. What are you doing? What are you studying? And you're really interested in this. And you want to apply to this person's lab. That's the prompt. So the prompt is something you need to think about. That's the only thing you need to really think about. And then it'll really draft you a really good email. So the email down below is an excellent email. The only thing you need to change is you need to add sort of details about sort of the background research that I was talking about. So anything that you've gained from reading publications or reviews on the website, you just put that in the email somewhere in between, and you've got a good email. So the email is already written for you by the software. So this is a really cool tool, and I recommend you should check this out. It'll be really useful. You don't need to spend a lot of time drafting emails like the good old days. So, and also another cool thing is when your email is complete, you can also tell it to check for grammatical errors. So you just put your email in the prompt, and you say, correct all grammar errors, and it'll give you an output with perfect grammar. So the idea, we don't really care about, so in our application or proposal, we don't care about really the language and grammar and stuff like that, but we understand that, PIs might really look at English and grammar. They would want a student, I don't know, someone who writes really good English or something. We feel that's not a big, so that should not be a barrier for application. So you should really make use of these tools. They can be really powerful and they can be really helpful. That's all I wanted to talk about. You can now start asking me questions.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Dr. Manoj, I have one question regarding you said to approach the host labs and all. So definitely we understand that the lab should be of our interest. But can you just provide some insights, like what exactly should be we find there are certain labs that don't really accept us or something like that. Can you really give us insight that exactly what kind of lab should we choose, or in the email particularly, what should we write? Should we write our proposal directly, or should we just ask a normal email, like a cold email like that? So in that case, can you say a bit?
Yeah, okay. So generally, all academic labs, they have their own agenda, so they have their own projects. whatever proposal you might write, ultimately you'll work on something that they are working on. So I wouldn't recommend like a full-blown proposal. I'd say draft your proposal after getting accepted. So now you know what the lab is working on and you have an idea of what you're going to work on. Then you can start drafting a proposal. Your email to the lab needs to be just something saying, I'm really interested in what you're doing. I found these pieces of research, so that could be an article or a review or something to be really nice. So I'd like to work on, something. You don't need to be really, specific about the kind of project you want to do. As long as you understand at some basic level what's going on in that lab, that's all you need. I think that puts you ahead of a lot of other people. So yeah, I think that's the thing you need to focus on. As for labs that don't accept people, I'd recommend going to their website. Sometimes, lab websites have this section called openings or job postings or something. And they would explicitly say, some labs say, we don't have openings at all, so please don't apply to us. Yeah, I'd recommend not wasting your time applying to those labs. But if you find nothing of that sort, just go ahead. I mean, nothing should discourage you from applying to any academic lab. I mean, what could go wrong? You just probably not get a reply, or you get a reply saying no. That's nothing. I mean, everyone goes through like plenty of rejections before they find their lab. So that shouldn't discourage you from writing emails. It's going to be hard, but it's definitely something you need to learn. Yeah.
Thank you, Manoj. I guess Anaga has some questions. If she would like, how is she going to ask? Shall I invite her to the stage?
Yeah, invite her to speak. Yeah.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
So I have a very specific question. I actually have been accepted by a PI at Rajiv Gandhi Center for Biotechnology.
Okay.
So the thing is, I read on your website that you said you do not provide funding to those institutes that require you to pay a fee. And RGCB does require you to pay a fee even after being accepted and going through the whole application procedure. The PI did inform me that I was selected because of the email that I wrote, and I will need help with the funding because my financial situation isn't the best. So am I still eligible for the funding or not?
Okay, that's a good question. I mean, so the thing is, what we really don't want is people applying to mainly industrial, positions. So, there's a lot of companies that give you internships in exchange for money. We don't want to encourage that. But if you're going to an academic institution, maybe we can allow for that. So I'd recommend still applying. That's a good question. We do understand that some academic institutes still charge a fee, which is unfortunate, right? You're working for it, and you're working you're going to work in the lab. So I don't know what you're paying for. They should be paying you, but yeah, I think you should still apply. We just don't want people applying for sort of industrial positions, positions in companies in exchange for money, because sometimes they're like not really, they can be, I don't know, shady, scammy kind of thing. So we don't want to encourage that. But academic institutes, like your example, we could make an exception. I say definitely apply to the program. We'll take a look at it and we'll let you know.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Anaga. Okay, I have another question regarding the emails again. Like in the emails, there is something like, if you write an email, it automatically go to the spam. So how can we avoid that? Or how can we just write a proper email? Like what should be the proper criteria?
See, I mean, if emails are going to the spam, they usually have like a simple filter. Some professors don't want interns. And so they'll just say any email with a subject with the word internship needs to go to spam. In this case, like you just cannot get into this. So because like they don't want you, so it's not going to work out. it's fine. You just ignore that. You don't have to. I don't think you should be worrying about your email going to spam. Just make sure that your email is specific to the lab you're applying to. Now, I cannot stress this enough because I worked in many labs, and all of those professors, they receive like thousands and thousands of emails from all over the world asking for internships, right? And a lot of those emails are generic emails. I also highly encourage that you mention the name of the PI when addressing in the email. So, dear Dr. X, not just dear sir or dear madam, because you can write dear sir or madam to any sir or madam, right? Like you really need to tell them that you know this person, you know this lab, you know what they're doing, at least at a basic level, and you at least know their name. So yeah, as long as you tailor a specific email to the lab, I would not worry about it going to spam. If the professor does not want interns, you're not getting into the lab. Hard luck. You just have to move on, find another lab. Also, I recommend not having a very specific interest. I'd recommend finding a field, at least at a broad level, so that you have multiple choices to apply. You can't have that one dream lab, and that lab does not want interns. Unfortunately, you cannot get into this dream lab. So I recommend having a little broad approach, especially if you're in a bachelor's. I'd say keep your field pretty broad and apply to like a host of different labs. You might not know what you like. You need to work on stuff to find that out. Yeah, so that'll be my advice.
Okay. Thank you. Now we have 2 hands raised, so I would call them sequentially or invite them to the stage. Nandi has some questions. So if...
Hi. Does CGPA really matter? Like, is there any minimum CGPA so that we can apply?
There is absolutely no CGPA requirement. In fact, CGPA, to be honest, is the lowest requirement. We really care about your proposal. That's sort of the major thing. CGPA is like maybe a tiebreaker at the end, but it's like the lowest requirement in my opinion. If you have a solid proposal and you know what you're going to do, or you've sort of read and done some background work, that's all that matters in my opinion. Yeah. You'll get an interview, and during the interview, we'll ask you questions, and that will ultimately decide if you're going to get selected. So yeah, I encourage you to apply even if you don't have what you deem a high enough CGPA. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And I have one more question. How much time will it take to process our acceptance?
So the internship period is between May and July, right? So you'll know in April. Yeah, you'll know in April. Probably beginning. I wouldn't say beginning of April because, yeah, I think you'll know in like mid-April. Yeah, that will be sort of the timeline, I'd say.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have Suhail. If he can be invited on stage.
Hello. Good morning. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, sir, I have one query regarding that. I have actually completed my master's. Whether is it possible for me to choose any PI lab? I'm eligible for it or not?
Unfortunately, right now the internship program is only open to students. So if you completed your degree, you would not be eligible. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, sir. Thanks.
So now I invite Soumya for questions.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Good morning. So basically, I wanted to know that I'm still giving my bachelor's exam, third year bachelor's exam. So it will be completed like in Feb, the end of Feb. So am I still eligible to apply for this program?
So you would not be a student in May, right?
No, basically, I would be giving my entrance for masters, but I don't think so.
Yeah, you need to be a student. So, for example, if you graduate in August, that's fine. So, I mean, during the course of the internship, you need to be a student. That's yeah. Unfortunately, that's sort of our eligibility thing. So, yeah, if you're graduating like in February, then unfortunately you would not be eligible.
Okay, thank you.
Now we have Devyani for a question.
I think I invited her. Yeah, there you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Sir, I am a MS student at ICER Pune.
Okay.
And I'm currently doing my master's thesis at BSIP, which is a DST institute. So I wanted to ask, like, for my master's thesis, can I directly apply for the dissertation internship, or do I have to be an NGSF prior summer internship awardee to apply for directly for the dissertation? Because I previously consulted on the Discord channel. They said that I have to be a prior NGSF summer intern to apply for a dissertation internship. Dissertation program.
I think this is a question that a lot of people have. So let me be really clear here. So the thing is, the summer internship for us is not as big as a financial commitment as a dissertation, because a dissertation is like maybe 6 months or something longer. So we really want to give that as a perk to students who have been selected as an NGSF internship. Have been selected in the NGSF internship program. So you heard it right. Whenever you discussed this previously, you need to have been selected for the internship program. So anyone who's been selected for the internship program in 2023 will be eligible for getting their dissertation funded next year. So after your internship. So yeah, unfortunately, you'll need to be an NGSF intern in the past to be eligible for this, because it's a slightly longer financial commitment. So, I mean, yeah, so we really want to like narrow down on, we really want to give it as a perk to NGSF interns. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Like, one more thing, do you have any like opportunities for dissertation students which don't require to be a prior intern?
Maybe in the future, unfortunately not right now. Maybe in the future, if our membership grows and we have enough finances to do this. Remember, we are not funded by anyone. It's just like a bunch of people in science putting money. So yeah, it's all our personal money. So if and when we grow large enough for something like that, we'll 100% do it. We really want to do it. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately not right now.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions that came through, like maybe Discord or something? Something was typed. Amchit, I think you're still muted, so I can't hear you.
No, I guess no one has typed yet.
No, I think when we announced this event, did you get any questions? Sorry, or something.
No.
Okay, there's a question from is Swati here? I see a question from her. No, she's not here. So yeah, that's irrelevant. Yeah, someone asked about the dissertation. They've started their dissertation in January this year. You asked if they're eligible. So as I said, you would not be eligible. So the NGSF internship program is only open for people who want to do a summer internship for a period of 2 to 3 months between May and July. To be eligible for the dissertation program, you need to have been an NGSF intern in the past. I think that's, yeah. Oh, there's Swati, so I'll invite her.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Sir, I had just a small query. It's like when we need to submit our application, we need to upload a scanned copy of university transcript. So what does mean by that? Like, I have asked one of my professors. So she said that I need to purchase it. Like, need to pay for the university transcript to the university. So is it like something that?
No. So, are you able to get like an administrative transcript, something like free? How do you know your marks? Like, is there a statement of your marks or something? Or
Yes, sir. I have a PDF of my mark sheet.
Yeah, just upload that. That's good enough. You don't need. Please don't pay for anything. We don't want you to pay for anything for our application. Yeah.
Okay, sir. That is the thing I want to ask. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. So I just invited Shivam to the stage.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, actually, I wanted to ask, like, for example, we get the acceptance letter signed by our professor. So, like, after we upload that, just wanted to clarify, will there be a surety that you will be selected after the interview, or there is some elimination round as well, like you select only few candidates or all the candidates who are applying?
Shivam, I just have one question. So when you say you are accepted by your professor, what do you mean? Is this a professor from your university, or what do you mean by that?
No, sir, from another institute.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Then you'll be eligible to apply. You can 100% apply. Yeah. The thing is, not everyone applying to us will get selected. We have a number in mind. I think it's a good enough number. But yeah, unfortunately, not everyone will be selected because, as I said, this is something we can only support so many students. So we don't have a cap on the number of students who can apply. Anyone can apply. So there will be a process of elimination, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, you just need to focus on your proposal, and if you get through the interview, I mean, it's not a hard interview in my opinion. You don't ask like really hard questions. You just need to have a basic understanding of what you're going to work on, and that's what we really want from you. And yeah, if you qualify that, you'll get it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. It's not going to be like a hardcore like PhD level thing. It's going to be as long as you have a basic understanding of what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
So I have one question regarding the scientific communication. Like after we complete the internships, so do we have to present a report or an article to the NGSF as well?
Yeah, so the other nice thing about the program is you just don't stop with working on your projects. Really want you to develop some sort of writing / presenting skill because it's very important you develop these right now, because these are really useful if you're going to be in science or in academia. You're going to write a lot, you're going to write papers and stuff, you're going to present a lot, you're going to do seminars, you're going to talk about your projects. So we really want you to develop this. So to be funded, the couple of the requirements are you need to write an article, and it needs to be like a basic science article. You don't need to write about what you're doing necessarily, but it will be nice if you do. And you need to talk about sort of the general aspects of your project. You don't need to go into all specific details because I understand some labs don't allow you to talk about everything because it's sort of confidential stuff. But as long as you give us an overall insight into what you've been doing, that's all we need. Yeah, so it's not like a competition or something. It's just we just want you to be comfortable presenting. We'll ask you a bunch of questions, simple questions. Yeah, it's just practice. But yeah, you'll need to do this. You need to write an article. You need to present.
Okay. Thank you. There is a mention in the website about the you are also providing the remote internships. So can you brief or can you elaborate in that part?
Yeah, so when we started initially, we were only focused on on-site internships because this was pre-COVID. We didn't really think about remote internships, but we understand that the world has changed and a lot of the stuff is happening now remotely. If you're like working on computational projects, we definitely understand that you will work remotely. So we do support remote internships, as in you can stay wherever you prefer and perform your internship from home. Obviously, because of this, your stipend is a bit reduced. I think it's like half the on-site internship stipend, and you obviously don't get covered for travel because you're probably at home doing it. But we're still willing to support you, even if you're from home working on these projects, because we think you're working. You need to be paid something, and so we are doing sort of our best to do that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Also, you have mentioned about the thesis project financing. Like if I'm in my final year and I'm doing my project, so can I apply you for the financial requirements?
Yeah, that's the thing I spoke about. I think that's the thing I explained earlier. You need to have been selected as an NGSF intern. So, say for example, you're in a 4-year degree. In your second year, you want to do a summer internship. You get accepted. You apply to us. You get selected. And then in your final year, you're going to do your bachelor's thesis or say master's thesis, something. You can apply to us. So since you have been selected as an NGSF intern at some point in the past, you can apply to us for dissertation funding. And I think that's about 6K or 5K. I'm not sure. I'll look at the website for a period of 6 months. So up to a period of 6 months, we are willing to support you. Because of financial situation, we can only support NGSF interns. We just want to give this as a perk to NGSF interns, so that you're encouraged to apply to us. Yeah, for now it is only open to NGSF interns. It's not open to everyone.
Okay. I guess from my side, questions are over. Now, I guess Anaga have some questions. So.
Yeah, hello. For the dissertation, to receive funding for the dissertation, do you have to work at the same lab that you interned at in the summer? Like assuming you get selected in the summer internship?
No, absolutely not. You can work in any lab you want. It just needs to be, as I said, it needs to be outside your university. I think that's still a requirement. It cannot be in your university. We want to encourage you to go outside of your university, explore different labs, different environments. So we encourage you to apply anywhere you want outside of your university. In India, obviously, we cannot support international sort of projects. Yeah, so as long as you're outside of your university, you can go anywhere you want, and we're ready to fund you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm getting a lot these days is how to get your application ID. If you didn't know how to do this, since you're on Discord already, you just go to your actual. Yeah, so when you click on your profile, it'll show your name. So for example, my name here is Manoj. And so when I go to my actual profile, it says Manoj and it's followed by 4 digits. So what you do is you basically take the first 3 letters of your name on Discord, not your actual name. It could be, say for example, we have a person called Meosis004, nice name. So we'll just take MEI followed by the number. We don't want your actual name. So that will be a unique application ID, and we'll use that for our own purposes. So that's how you make your ID. First 3 letters of your Discord name followed by the 4 numbers after your, so the 4-digit number after your Discord ID. So that will be your application ID. If you have questions about the application ID, please let me know. Or you can keep asking me in the NGSF Internship channel and I'll help you. Yeah. Okay. I can already see what this question is about. I think this person has a number for a name. Okay. Yeah, so you're invited on stage, so you can, yeah.
Hello, sir. My question is, in the research proposal, do we actually need to propose a real-world project and an experiment? So as an undergraduate and postgraduate student, how could we go about it? Please, could you give us some ideas how to proceed?
Okay. So ideally, how you want to do this is when you actually apply, when you actually send emails to the labs, just be generic, generic in terms of you don't have to propose specific real world experiments. You just have to like tell them what you're really interested in. Once they accept you, you'll obviously talk to your PI, right? Like you will talk to the professor about what you're going to potentially work on. They'll give you a basic idea. It need not be like, I'm going to do PCR, I'm going to do Western blotting on this specific protein. You don't need to do all that. In your proposal, what you need to tell us is what's the background you're going to work in, what made you interested in it, what you think is really good, and what you want to do in general terms. Need not be very specific. You need not tell us, give us like a timeline of what experiments you're going to do. Obviously, you probably don't have an idea of that yet. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Just tell us what your background is going to be, what you're going to work on, and why you think this is a really cool thing to work on. Yeah, that'll be my recommendation. And also, so your Discord name is a number. This is something new. So in your case, your actual application ID will be 045 followed by whatever 4-digit number. That'll be your application ID in case you had that question.
Okay, sir. But if we actually want to propose a real-world project, how should we proceed about it instead of general information?
Just write about it. I'm only talking about cases where you're not allowed to talk about real. So see, some PIs don't want you to talk about their projects because they don't want you telling about what they're working on before it's published, right? Because others might come to know of it. There's competition between labs, so they don't want you to tell about everything. In that case, just tell us the background. You don't need to go into specific experiments. But if you actually want to talk about experiments, just tell us that, see, this is the end goal of my project. I want to understand X, Y, Z. And I'm going to do ABC experiments. And I think this is going to be feasible in 3 months or 2 months. Yeah, just be, I think, straight about it. There's nothing, just keep it simple. We're not looking for complicated stuff.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any more questions? Just raise your hand.
Well, there are no questions from my side. So, in the audience, if anyone has some questions, they can raise their hand.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of we're getting emails on a regular basis asking some questions. So I'm just thinking. I think I covered the fact that you need to be a student. You need to be a student when you're interning. So if you're already graduated or you will be graduated before July, you're not eligible for the program. You're not eligible for dissertation funding if you have not been selected for the internship in the past. Yeah, I think those are the 2 major questions that we usually get through the email. Again, email is not the fastest way to get responses from us. I think if you use Discord, there's a channel for NGSF Internship program. Just post your questions there. You'll get pretty much, I think you'll get replies within 24 hours. Emails take a little bit more time because it takes a bit more time. Discord, I get notifications immediately. So yeah. If you have any questions about application ID, if you have any questions about proposals or what we expect, just let us know. So if you have any other questions, just raise your hand, and then we'll bring you on stage and you can ask. One other thing is we posted a poll. So we have this WhatsApp group called NGSF Sparrows, where we post sort of polls, and we post job postings, Twitter threads, useful stuff. So I think we'll probably put the invite on Discord if you want to join that. Yeah, I think we posted a poll asking what was the biggest challenge for applying to our program, and I think most of the people selected finding a host PI. Yeah, as I said, if you keep your emails really specific to the PIs you're applying to, I think you have a good chance of getting accepted. So that would be my recommendation.
I guess we are coming to the end of this event. So I would ask again to the audience, if they have any questions, they can raise their hands, or else we can wrap it up. Yeah, Shinoy has some questions.
Okay, let me invite.
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, good morning. So, my question is that which all institutes would you recommend to apply for a bio undergraduate student other than what you're currently? I mean, I'm enrolled in ISIS. So, other than ISIS, which all good institutes can you recommend for filing a PI?
Yeah, so did you visit the recommended institutes page on our website?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so if you go to ngsf.in, there's actually a page called Recommended Institutes where we have a list of sort of the premier academic institutes in India, if you want to get an idea. And then you basically Google those, go to the websites, find the labs, and try to apply. That'll be our recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll just give it one. Oh, there's one more question.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, sometimes when we select the research proposal, sir, I did it the first time and I just went deep into it. It's so deep. I was researching for months about what will I be doing in the internship and what are the things. If I try to be very specific, the things really change. I thought something initially, and then when I dive deep into it, everything changes. The subjects changes, the experiment, and if I keep things very basic, they feel very basic things. I'm not interested in the stuff, and it keeps getting very difficult to where do I have to stop, what do I have to where do I have to put my mind, how much difficult I want to make, or how much basic I want to keep the things, or how much deep I want to get in. It's very sometimes frustrating to not know where do I have to stop thinking about and where do I have to keep thinking about my research proposal, and it just keeps revolving around for months and months. And
yeah, so is this what stage are you in? Have you been accepted, or you're still trying to send an email?
Sir, I sent email for the IAS SRFP this year only. I'm in second year of undergraduate, and I've said many interesting things viruses and some, but that think viruses are not easy and they just keep getting some more difficult and specific, which I don't have a very good idea about. But I'm very interested in that thing for my future. But like if I go very deep into it, it keeps getting very difficult for me. And if I keep things basic, like there is nothing basic in viruses to talk about.
Okay, Vishal. So, I mean, I think from like a very basic understanding of what you're interested in, I think what you want to do is really understand viruses and develop therapeutics. I'm guessing. I mean, that's probably what you want to do, right? So, what I'd say is don't dive too deep because, I mean, whatever you read in theory, whatever you read in books does not necessarily translate to practice. Have you ever worked in a lab before, like full time?
No, sir. Like it is my first time trying to get into internships, and sir,
Okay, so so if you've not worked in a lab before, I think you need not get too deep into stuff because you can just keep reading paper after paper after paper, and you're just in this rabbit hole. I'd recommend just like reading where the field is at. So, I mean, there are so many different types of viruses. There's millions and millions of viruses. What do you want to work on? As in, not like coronavirus, not specific as that. I'm just saying, do you want to work on some respiratory virus? Do you want to work on a non-oncogenic virus? There's like so many different viruses, right? So if you take viruses, there are so many different aspects to it. So you want to understand how they're infecting cells. Do you want to understand how they look like? Do you want to understand what proteins they're using? What do you want to do? So this is what you need to understand. Don't go into like millions of papers and going down like these different paths. I don't think you should do that. Just read like different aspects. So the different fields within virus, right? Like, so if you take virology, there's cell biology, there's biochemistry, there is, I don't know, there's like animal veterinary science. There's so many different fields that have viruses, right? So I recommend finding like the field within virology that sort of interests you and look for labs. Don't go too deep. Then you really narrow down on like maybe 1 or 2 labs in India, and then you'll have a really hard time finding it. That stuff you'll figure out ultimately. You'll figure out as you keep working. You'll find out what you really like. And that's how everyone goes through academia. So that's my recommendation. If that helps with your question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyone else have some questions? Or anyone wants to say something?
Yeah, if you have questions, just raise your hands and we'll bring you on stage. Yeah, I think if there are no questions, we can just bring this session to an end.
Yeah, okay, Manoj.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope I've answered most of your questions. Again, if you have other questions after the session, please let us know in the channel, the NGSF Internship channel, and then we'll answer those very quickly. Thanks.